All right, today we're going to be looking at the Dave Stevens Artist Edition of the Rocketeer, right over here, Artist Edition. And let me tell you a little bit about me before we start talking about this beautiful book by Dave Stevens. My name is Walden Wong. I'm a comic book artist from Marvel and DC. You can see some of my work on my website, which is waldenwongart.com. Over there, there's a gallery shop and a lot of videos and blog and links that you can look at. So feel free to check out my website. And if you enjoy these videos, please think about supporting me over on Patreon. It's patreon.com/waldenwongart. There's different tiers that you can show support, as well as mentorship tier. So if you're interested in me critiquing your artwork and giving you a review of your work, feel free to hit me up over there. Please hit subscribe, share, and like this video to help me further my channel. So thank you very much. And without further ado, we're going to take a look at this artist edition. It hasn't been opened yet. I'm going to open this right in front of you, and we'll be looking at this together. So here we go. Alright, so this is Dave Stevens, The Rocketeer Artist Edition, 40th anniversary. Here's the front cover. Okay, I'm gonna start opening this up. Still sealed, so we're doing an unboxing and also a review at the same time. Open this up. There we go. And remove this plastic sheet. Okay, so here is the front cover, a nice black gloss on the character right over here. Okay, I'm going to show you the spine. Dave Stevens, The Rocketeer Artist Edition by IDW. Yeah, I like his little logo, Rocketeer logo right over there. There's the back, Dave Stevens initials, DS. Okay, and the thickness of the book. Okay, we're going to see the side. Here's about maybe like less than an inch thick. Okay, I'm going to open up an artist edition from the center first and give it a quick, kind of get it ready. Okay, now inside front cover. Let's see if the inside back cover is the same. I like it when it's different. If it's the same, oh, look good. We have Betty Page back there, and we have the Rocketeer. So let's take a look at some of the work. This saddle stitching, pages are stuck together again. I'm not going to force it and then rip it like one of my other editions. We'll just leave it like that. Maybe there's glue stuck here. And then we have this page dedicated to the memories of Dave Stevens and Carol Stevens. Okay, Dave Stevens' work. I met Dave Stevens a long time ago. He's not around anymore. He passed away many years back. But before I started working in comics, before I became a professional artist, I was at WonderCon in San Francisco, and Dave Stevens was there. He was a nice guy. I had a talk with him. I asked him if he can critique my work, and he looked at some of my work. This was when I was walking around with my portfolio and just asking any artists to critique my work and to see if they can, give me hints and tips and tricks of the trade to see if I can improve my work. And he was very kind. He told me to use a brush and how to improve and how to get better. And I asked him, do you have, by any chance, any photocopies of your pencils? Usually, people don't have photocopies of the pencil at a convention. Like, why would they carry photocopies of the pencils? But I figured I'd ask anyway, because I was accustomed to Arthur Adams when I would go to his comic book shop in San Francisco back in the day, and he would just give me photocopies. So I just asked people, and Dave Stevens was one of the artists that I asked, do you have photocopies of your pencils that I can really bring home and practice on? And then he said he didn't really have any photocopies of the pencils. Not only that, when he does his work, he doesn't actually pencil everything in first, and then he ends that off with inking it. He actually draws a little bit of something first, and then he inks it. And then once he's done inking, he'll draw partially here, and then he'll ink something and then finish drawing it. So he does a lot of back and forth drawing and inking. So it's not like where everything is penciled first and then it's inked later. There's some text that disappeared. Looks like it fell off. Okay, yeah, it looks like it fell off. So the text either covered up or fell off. I can see some of the words from the scan. It looks like it's that something, and then yeah. Okay, we're going to take a look at some of the other pages that Dave Stevens done. If you look at some of my other videos, I actually drew the Rocketeer based on Dave Stevens' work. I'm a huge fan of Dave Stevens, which is why I got this artist edition. Feel free to look at some of my other videos and look for the drawing of a Rocketeer. It was one of the Inktober pieces I drew from. I think I did the inking and penciling and filmed all that in a sped up video, like a high-speed video. So look for that. Okay, I wonder why some of these pages are like yellowish and these are in white. I don't understand why, why you print everything in that color. Maybe the scan, this is a white scan, or this, you know what, this could be the scan and this is like the file or something that they had access to. To be consistent, I would actually have either all white pages or all yellow pages. It's kind of awkward to have like this yellow and this white over here. Okay, here's some more pages. The Zipatone here. Dave Stevens is really good at drawing a Betty page. I think they kind of knew each other back in the day. Okay, here. And Dave Stevens, this kind of looks like Dave Stevens. If you met the person before, that actually kind of looks like himself. Okay. Here, he probably modeled himself after, he probably Rocketeer after himself. Okay, and we have some more. Yeah, kind of his work kind of reminds me of Alex Raymond's work, AlexRaymond. If you don't know Alex Raymond's work, he's one of the artists that Paul Smith, one of my mentors, who also enjoys work, is Alex Raymond. I remember when I talked to Paul and he would teach me about inking, he told me to go and buy some Alex Raymond Flash Gordon books, or rent some Flash Gordon books. I remember not being able to buy it or find it because at the time there was no such thing as the internet, and I had to go to San Francisco State University, and they actually had a few copies of the Alex Raymond the Alex Raymond Flash books, and I was studying the line work when I was working with him on The Spirit for DC Comics. We actually got to work together, and when I look at some of the fig work and the line work and the brush strokes over here, it reminds me of Alex Raymond's work. Later on, fast forward to when the internet was around, I was able to order anything online, whatever you want online, just do a search. I was able to find the Alex Raymond Flash Gordon, so you can still get those in store. Maybe one of these days, those of you who are interested, comment down below, and maybe I'll make a video of those Alex Raymond Flash Gordon. They're not as big as this. They're about maybe half the size of this artist edition here, and the ones I have are in color, the Alex Raymond Flash Gordon. Okay, but let's continue looking at Dave Stevens' work over here. Guns. Really detailed guns. The cars are detailed. I do know that when Dave Stevens was doing work, he takes his time to do work. He's a really meticulous artist, and from what I've learned of his work is that he'll take a long time to finish his work because quality is really important to him. Okay, here's Betty Page. That's the Betty Page. I didn't really know who Betty Page was until I started seeing Dave Stevens draw him over and over again. Okay, this yellow over yellow is probably from the original art. Okay, so what publisher did he draw Rocketeer for? Probably for Dark Horse Comics, but Dave Stevens was using his own Bristol boards that he was buying from stores, because I know that because usually Dark Horse, they have their own paper that has like these blue line guides, as well as DC Comics, Marvel Comics, and Image Comics, all the publishers that I actually done work for. But this one doesn't have any of the blue line guides. But I do see blue pencils, so that means if we scanned it, it would have picked up some of the blue line guides. So Mr. Stevens was actually buying his own Bristol boards and then drawing on top of it. Okay, here's the little pup over here that Dave Stevens will use as some of his dog logos. Here's this. Lots of work on this cross-hatching over and over again. The Rocketeer story and art by Rocketeer, lettering by Carrie Spiegel, co-writers and so forth, and all the other detail. Okay, here. Okay, so Rocketeer later on, I think Disney bought it and made a movie with the Rocketeer. I don't know if they're ever going to make the Rocketeer movie again, like a sequel or something. I heard that there may be somewhere a few years ago that they mentioned that maybe there'll be a Rocketeer sequel, but I haven't heard if there's any new ones. If you do know or anything about Disney making another Rocketeer movie, please comment down below and let me know. Maybe post links as well. Okay, that totally looks like Dave Stevens. Later on, we're gonna, let's see, is there a photograph at the end of Dave Stevens? Yeah, right here, that totally looks like him. Okay, let's see, there should be, yep, there's a self-portrait that he drew of himself. Okay, self-portrait of Dave Stevens. Anyway, let's continue looking at this. So this book isn't that thick. We're almost nearing towards 2/3 of the book over here. Look how nice this drawing is. Look at the line work. Look how smooth and clean those lines are. Really, really good with the brushwork. Even the tapering of the lines, like Dave Stevens was really good at using the brush. I remember seeing him at the convention, and he was actually inking at the show. He was using a Winsor Newton brush. I didn't ask him what size. Pretty much usually the Series 7 size 2 Winsor Newton brush. Almost every comic book artist was using that same size brush at the time. I don't use that brush. I use a synthetic brush, which is this one, which creates the same results. But you're an artist. It's the artist that controls the brush. The brush doesn't control the artist. And if you know the tools, you can control the tools to achieve the line quality that you need. Just white out over here. So underneath there, just art. Okay. Dave Stevens it seems like he doesn't really erase his pencils that clean. He'll ink it and then slightly erase it, because I do see some pencil markings on these scans. Not only that's a stat over here. So that stat, what a stat is, was Dave Stevens drew this image. Instead of redrawing that picture frame over here, he would make a photocopy of that, and then take that photocopy and paste it here using an X-Acto knife and cut around it. So it's the same image, so he doesn't have to redraw that image again. Okay. Yeah, stat is commonly used these days. But these days with Photoshop work, I guess if an artist wants to create their own stat, they can use the glue stick method and copy and paste it. But with these days, with Photoshop and all the digital enhancements that we can do, we can actually scan this artwork, and when we work on this page, just crop that image digitally, just paste it in there and just put it in there. It's much faster. You don't have to actually get a glue stick and get an X-Acto knife, sit there and cut, and be sure you don't overcut and cut the original Bristol board. Cut lightly. Some artists back in the day would actually make a photocopy of their artwork, and then on another cardboard, they would make a photocopy on top of that, and then on top of the photocopy, they would cut around it. After they cut it, then they would take that and post it on that. Because sometimes artists who are using X-Acto that are heavy-handed, they'll cut through the original art. Okay, here's some of these. Now, some of these, I think some of these are real cuts. So these are some of the, what are these? Not the Three Stooges. There's these little characters. I recognize them. Like when I was really, really young, I used to watch them. Like the Rascals. These are two of the Rascals. So I think these are some of the other actors from back in the day. I don't really recognize any of them. This is probably Marilyn Monroe. I see the mole there. So if any of you guys who are watching this video recognize any of these characters' faces, I know that he probably drew these based on some of the characters. Please comment down below and let me know which character is who. So I know these two are the Little Rascals. This is Marilyn Monroe. This one I kind of recognize, but I don't really know who that is. Okay, so we're going to take a look here, So there's a page number here, or some kind of note. And instead of whiting out it, they will use like a white tape and just cover it. So when they print the comic book, it wouldn't show up. I remember when I was much younger, I would work at Viz Media, and we would have stats. Viz Media is a company that does Pokemon, Naruto, One Piece, and things like that. Sometimes they would have images there, and we would have to cover it. Instead of using a bottle of whiteout, what we do is we'll use white tape, not a masking tape, like white printing tape, and then we'll cut it and we'll just cover it. We'll just paste it over. Or if there's like bleed over and there's a line with some artwork that's here, instead of using whiteout to white out the line, we will use that strip of tape, tape it to the side to get that nice clean line over there. Okay, we're here. Remove the belt. There must have been a belt somewhere, and doesn't know to remove the belt. Some mummies. Look how nice. So I can't imagine why Dave Stevens would take a long time, because look at those faces. Those faces are really nicely drawn. All the hatch lines and the detail and the shading is all in there. Okay. See, letter some of the special effects over here. Look at look, that is totally, you know what? He totally drew himself as the Rocketeer. Now tell me that doesn't look like him without the beard. Look at the eyebrows. Same eyebrows. The eyes, look at the hairstyle. Same guy. Just doesn't have the mustache and the beard, the goatee. And it doesn't have the mole over there. But that's totally himself. Look at the ears. Okay. Now we have the skeleton with the nose. Okay. We have this. I think Dave Stevens, when it comes to drawing and creating artwork for female figures, it's like he does the best forms for the female figures. Sometimes you look at artwork and you try to find flaws in the artwork and you don't really see any. This character is a real character. It's a real person over here. Okay. Is this like Shirley Temple? This kind of looks like Shirley Temple from a long time ago. Okay, if you think it's kind of like Shirley, I didn't read this yet. Maybe it could be. I'm not really sure. Let's take a look at some of this. And this looks like I don't know all the old time actors. Okay, lots of detail. The bone structures, all the ribs. Okay, the spider webs over here. The Black Widow. We have some characters crawling. Yeah, so a little bit, when I'm looking at the scans, they're a little bit muddy. What I would do is, now if you're an artist and you're scanning your artwork and it's kind of brownish like this, go in Photoshop and adjust the contrast, the levels, adjust the levels, move that middle slider to the right a little bit, and it will lighten everything up like this. So some of this, when it's kind of muddy, if you go to your levels and then adjust it to the right, it'll clean it up a little bit. Okay, not the contrast, but the levels. So play around with that. So this way, if you're scanning artwork, you won't get this brownish look. You'll get a nice, clean, white page look. And I know the printer that made this, they purposely want to have this grayish look, and which is understandable, just to make it look like original artwork. But most artwork, they're not really that gray. I know I have stacks and stacks of original artwork that I've done for different publishers, and they're not that great unless I have really dirty hands and I'm smudging the pencils on the whole page. Usually the outside is a little bit more smudgy because I'm handling the page, but the inside is not that dark. Bulldog Cafe. Okay, and then here's the last page. Oh, look how nice that page is. Paris will just have to wait until Cliff and I can go together. In the meantime, we've got a lot of talking to do. Right over here. Very nice work. And, oh, there's more pages. Oh, looks like there's a bonus chapter. It wasn't, I thought that was the last page. End of part 2. And then a few more pages to go. Cover gallery. An ad from Star Slayer, and then here. So there's an ad. Okay, it looks like all this lettering is also hand lettered. Let me take a look. Yeah, it looks like it's hand lettered. Even just which was adjusted later. And then we have the next page, some gray wash and tones on top. Here looks like here's a stat on top. Looks like something else was drawn underneath and it was changed. We don't know what's underneath because I can't really see it. If I had original art, I would kind of like look through it, but I can't really see what's happening here. So yeah, something was covered up here. Something was changed. This doesn't even look like Dave Stevens' work. Like maybe another artist did something here. I wonder if there's a notation. See, nope, no notation. So I know this is Dave Stevens' work, especially the face. This is, I don't think that's Dave Stevens' facial drawings or the hatch lines. Like Dave Stevens' line work is much more in detail. Like this is much more orderly. Here, this is a little bit more random. So someone else changed this and covered up some of Dave Stevens' work over here. Looks like this is a stat that's placed on top. Okay, here we have this page. Very nice. If some of you who don't have the hardcover and you bought the trade paperback of this, which is smaller, this is the cover to that. I also have the trade paperback to this edition, and they use that as the cover. And here's this one on this spot. Here's the page where they're ripping into it. I wonder what's down here. Oh, so it looks like there was original comic book panels that they probably stacked it and put in here. Red Claire. Oh, can't show that for YouTube. There's a little bit of you can't show that. Okay, and here's the back page. Again, feel free to pause the video and read more about Dave Stevens. I'll bring it closer to the camera. Pause the video to read about it. Okay, and then here's the last page. Beautiful drawing. Look at the line work. I don't see any shaky lines. Controls the line weight, breaks up the line weight. So as a inker myself, as someone who's been doing comic books for a long time, I can literally sit here for a good few hours studying the line work here, studying the line quality. Of course, given that this is blown up a little bit larger than the actual size, because here's another panel here and just 2 more panels there, so it was done smaller. But seeing this larger, you can see how nice and how much control Dave Stevens has line. Look how sharp those tips are. Okay, look how sharp. Look at these hatch lines. It's really nicely controlled from thin line to a thick line to a thin line. Okay, everything is soft. Anything that needs to be rough, he would be able to do that. Okay. See, and here's the last page, and there you have it. That is the Rocketeer Artist Edition. So there you have it. That is the Dave Stevens Rocketeer Artist Edition. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Please like and share my videos. And if you enjoy these types of videos where I make these artist editions for you, please subscribe to my channel if you haven't done so already. I'll be making more of these artist edition videos. One thing I've noticed, when I bought this, it was shipped to me and it was shipped into a big box. It was shipped in a big box. And in the big box was this other box where the UPC barcode was on the box. That barcode isn't on the book. It's nowhere on the book, right over here. So usually if you're gonna order from retail and they have stuff like scanning stuff that skips scan UPC code like this, it'll be held inside this box. So I'll add links below the video description if it's still on Amazon. So anything you order on Amazon, I get a little bit of commission. So thank you very much for that. So until next video, I'll see you next time, and keep on drawing and go back and watch this video again. Take care. Bye-bye.